What is he thinking about? Well, obviously, that's not a valid question. It's just an animal. He's just got a profound look on his face, but he ain't thinking. But what about these cases? What are they thinking about? But then again, I catch myself on a second thought. This isn't a valid question either. Just situate the so-called election campaign in the right context.
A bomb of unprecedented destructiveness had exploded. 3 days later, a second atom bomb was dropped on Nagasaki.
Despite a popular belief, Hiroshima and Nagasaki was not an end of World War II, but rather, they marked a beginning of a new war. What we are seeing today is a mere unfolding of that British intention of permanent warfare. And being at the end of this game, that overall intention of the British Empire is being exposed on all sides. Look at the case of British-directed Obama's alliance with not only Al-Qaeda but also with MEK. A recent article by Sam Dagar in Wall Street Journal reveals that Saudi Arabia and Qatar are pushing Sunni tribes in Iraq to back the arming of the Syrian opposition by Al-Qaeda. The report states, "Arms are going through," said Abdul Rahim al-Shamari, the head of the local government security committee in Nanib province, which encompasses the Iraqi city of Mosul and Syrian border crossing at Rabia. He said the Islamic State of Iraq, an al-Qaeda affiliate widely believed to be based in Nineveh, has a virtual monopoly on the flow of arms and fighters to Syria. Saudi Arabia and Qatar are among the states taking a lead in backing armed anti-Assad groups and pledging to do everything they can to strengthen these forces. Several Sunni Arab Iraqi tribal leaders said they are coming under pressure to follow suit. So the British, on the one side, are using the known British outfits of the Saudis and Qatar to fund and arm Sunni tribes affiliated with Al-Qaeda in Iraq to help overthrow Assad in Syria. But on the other side, the British, through Obama and Susan Rice in the United Nations, are pushing for humanitarian interventions against Assad government. Now, if you want to know what humanitarian intervention means here, Gaddafi can tell you all about it. But literally, the British are pushing for this war on all fronts. Today, Friends of Syria, a front set up by the British faction to topple Syria's Assad regime, will hold a conference in Tunis to push for more Al-Qaeda force in Syria. It has been leaked that at this conference, a 72-hour ultimatum will be issued to Assad to initiate a ceasefire and allow for humanitarian aid to enter the country. Smelling the fishiness, Russia and China declined their attendance to this conference. Alexei Pushkov, head of the Foreign Affairs Committee in Russia's lower house of parliament, told the RT that the sole purpose of that conference is not to find a way out of the current situation, but to promote the idea that the conflict can only be resolved if Assad leaves. But there is another dimension to this picture that we should not forget. As you can see, we are right here. We are getting into a northern plane of our galaxy where the influx of the cosmic radiation is going to increase dramatically. And also, in a 62 million year galactic cycle, we are in a period characterized by the so-called mass extinction of species. Added to this picture is what Sky Seals from the basement team elaborated in the weekly report. Given Earth's north and south axis wobbling, while geomagnetic field is winding down, the Earth's magnetic field may flip upside down, a situation that our species have never encountered. Now, put the 2012 election in this context. Admittedly, these candidates are pretty good candidates for mass extinction. Sorry, but what they are pumped up about, the popularity, campaign money, or nice talking points, means nothing in the face of these existential threats to mankind. As our extinction survivor can tell you, these poor dinosaurs, however adorable they may be, are destined to be wiped out. But nonetheless, if you insist and if you still want to vote on your favorite candidate, go to this website and click on your favorite dinosaur. But now, I know many of you would rather vote for survival than extinction, so let's focus on successful survival of human species. Our chance here is very grim. However, there are qualified few who represent an inception point of a new system in which a potential for a whole process of successful survival is embedded. In terms of war avoidance, the fact that we are still alive is solely due to the patriotic move by a faction in the US military to avert the thermonuclear war. General Martin Dempsey, chairman of the US Joint Chief of Staff, typifies this faction. On February 19th, in an interview with CNN, he made a strong statement against Israel attacking Iran, as well as U.S. arming Syrian opposition. In fact, this was the strongest warning against Israel since Eisenhower told Israel to withdraw from Egypt during the Suez Canal crisis of 1956. Moreover, Dempsey's policy of war avoidance goes beyond the Middle East. The general stated, "I think this is more opportunity than liability to improve our relationship with China, and I am personally committed to have that as the outcome rather than get into an arms race or into some kind of confrontation with China." But, as expected, the British Empire, determined to bring human race down with them, have already started major attacks against the general. Following Netanyahu calling General Dempsey a de facto agent of Iran, Wall Street Journal has an editorial claiming that in a single soundbite, General Dempsey managed to tell the Iranians they can breathe easier because Israel's main ally is opposed to an attack on Iran. In a coordinated fashion, Council of Foreign Relations head Richard Hess accused the general of saying that Iran was a rational factor. And John McCain, coming out of a meeting with Netanyahu, effectively endorsed Netanyahu against Dempsey. Now, how long these generals can hold? we do not know. But given the fact that they are virtually the last line of defense against thermonuclear war, and the fact that they could be removed by Obama at any moment, leaves us with only one option: to go for Obama's removal. And therefore, that leaves us with the LaRouche candidates, who are the leading force in the United States to do exactly that, but also are working to ensure a successful survival of human species through physical economic developments. On February 18th, a joint town hall meetings hosted by Diane Sare and Keisha Rogers of the LaRouche National State brought well over 100 people to this event, which was solely dedicated to recruit American citizens to fight for survival of humanity. This strategy for survival was clearly laid out by Mr. LaRouche in his keynote address. To dump Obama immediately through 25th Amendment, revive the Glass-Steagall in its original form, and initiate the necessary credit through a Third National Bank of the United States for major national projects such as NUWAPA, the Arctic Development, and Mars Mission. While politics, since Kennedy's assassination, has degenerated into a mere sophistry of arguments and counter-arguments, these candidates are reviving the lost art of politics, where you lead people by moving them. In New Jersey, Diane is recruiting those who are ready to leave behind the age-old go-along and get-along politics into our camp. A handful of people from Diane's district filled out a paperwork on the spot to become Democrats so they could petition for Diane. On a similar vein, a prominent Democrat in New Jersey has told Diane that she's going to resign from the party so that she can campaign for a third-party presidential candidate because she can't stand Obama. Also at the event were New York teachers who proudly announced that the United Federation of Teachers of 641 delegates passed Glass-Steagall, a work that was accomplished in collaboration with Diane. In Texas, the meeting was a full-day conference where they had a wide range of presentations by Keisha herself, another LaRouche Democrat, Summer Shields, Jason Ross from the Basement team, and her campaign staffers, solely to educate and recruit the mind of citizens.
The conference was awesome. The reason I like it was because you guys talk about so much stuff that I think about all the time, but like when I talk with my peers, like they don't understand. So it's good to find a group that finally thinks the way I do.
I thought it was fantastic. I enjoyed it so much. There was so much to learn, and so many things that I didn't know about science that was made so much simpler.
I recommend to anyone who want to learn and know what's going on. Extremely, really good, extremely good. I won't forget this. Took a lot of notes, and hey, going to truly stay involved.
It's always exciting when you hear new ideas that can help progress humanity, that you can actually understand and you know how to apply.
And don't forget of the leadership we provide here on LPAC site. We provide all kinds of ammunition for you to fight for successful survival of humanity. So back us up with your contribution, but more importantly, become a member. Don't just like us. Commit yourself with the fight.